Welcome to the GRUMO podcast, a weekly show designed to help online entrepreneurs build products people actually want. My name is Miguel Hernandez, and in today's episode, I'll share with you the best marketing strategy of all time. Are you ready? Let's do it. There are so many marketing strategies out there, but which one is the best? After 11 months in the marketing trenches of the interwebs, learning from the best, spending tens of thousands of dollars in courses, trips, and conferences, I've come up with what I believe to be the best marketing strategy of all time. I've struggled quite a bit to condense this strategy into an easy-to-read, succinct one-liner, but this morning, while I sat on the throne of caca, inspiration struck me in the hypothalamus, and the perfect one-liner came to me. Here's the one-liner. Fart so loud, they can't ignore you. Amazing, right? All marketing wisdom encapsulated in a deceptively simple yet tremendously flatulent line, even shorter than a tweet. Or should I say, a toot. How is it possible to cram so much wisdom in just 34 miserable, smelly characters? Well, it's not possible, and whoever claims to be able to solve all your marketing problems in one line is a big, fat liar. However, just for kicks and giggles, let's explore this unorthodox marketing strategy. Warning: if you're offended by flatulent prose, you're welcome to skip this story. Just press forward a bunch of times until you stop hearing nonsensical stuff. Now, how an epic fart could make you rich? If you could indeed fart super loud, you would get lots of attention. And since the main goal of marketing is to get attention, a fart of nuclear proportions would put you in the map for years to come. Picture this. You and your newly discovered best marketing strategy of all time, BM-SOT, the BM-SOT. That's the acronym. Deeply embedded in your hyper-bloated gut, standing in the middle of Times Square, New York. Thousands of unsuspecting humans surround you, all unaware that their boring lives are going to be changed forever in a matter of minutes. Then you let it out. The biggest fart in the history of the universe since the Big Bang. So loud, all the ad screens in Times Square explode together with all the glass windows in the surrounding buildings in a 4-kilometer radius. Who could ever forget that? Who could ever forget you? Now, let's say that you had a blog aptly called The Biggest Fart in the History of the Universe Since the Big Bang.io. The .com was taken, of course. Within minutes, your site would be flooded with thousands, then millions of visits from all around the world. All the top news online publications linking back to your site. Imagine having CNN, NBC, the Huffington Post, Fox, New York Times pointing to your URL. That would mean top shelf SEO juice forever. If you sold portable nuclear fart kits, you would be guaranteed to make it to the Forbes top 100 most disgustingly rich men in a matter of weeks. Infinite wealth and fame. Finally, all your shitty dreams would become true. And all you had to do is eat expired barbecue pork burritos for 3 years straight. Okay, enough goofing around. That was a fun thought experiment, but as you can imagine, very hard to carry out successfully. However, as gross as it may seem, we will see later how the epic fart strategy does contain a kernel of universal marketing truth. I promise that the rest of this article will be much less entertaining but much more impactful to your bottom line. The actual BM-SOT is called suck-up marketing, and unfortunately is almost as gross as the epic fart, albeit much more realistic to implement. Let me explain how it works in a rather convoluted and disorienting way. Suck-up marketing is the same strategy I employ to start my animation studio and land big clients in less than 4 weeks. Also, the same strategy I used to start Doncar.es, a site that now supports 2 of my friends in Spain. It's the same strategy that many other professionals, experts, business owners, and entrepreneurs have employed to accelerate the growth of their businesses exponentially. Here's a nice diagram that illustrates this powerful marketing approach in a nutshell. And I'm going to describe it to you because this was originally a blog post with a big picture on it, so you cannot see it because you're listening to it. But this picture was taken in Beijing, China, and depicts two characters that are sculpted in what it looks marble. And one of them is a character of a male bending over. He's showing his bum and his nuts. And there is what it looks like a person made also a sculpture out of marble about to lick his balls. Okay, no, it's not a joke. As you'll find out shortly, this approach is easily replicable and almost infallible. No, you won't have to literally suck anyone's balls, but figuratively, yes. So figuratively speaking now, let's take a 10,000-foot view of this approach. First, let's look at the variables at play. We have two main characters. One, ball sucker or BS, and unfortunately that would be you, and a big bald person or BBP. The whole idea is to achieve a BS plus BBP arrangement that is mutually beneficial. The onus is on the BS, the ball sucker, because as it happens, BBPs have a plethora of ball suckers ready to suck their balls at the drop of a fart. Now let's back up a bit. This is a game of patience and carefully applied strategy. If you rush, not only you'll end up licking the wrong balls, but you will most likely end up with your pretty face covered in useless shit. And we want the useful type of shit, of course. Before explaining how this seemingly unorthodox strategy works, let's first explore what makes a marketing strategy great. What makes a marketing strategy great? The best marketing of all time will be the strategy that best answers this question. How can I get the maximum marketing impact with the least amount of resources? Let's unpack this question a bit by defining marketing impact and resources. Marketing impact, or MI. Measurable desired results caused by the strategic use of available resources. Desired results can vary a lot, but typically would be in the form of a substantial increase in traffic, followers, shares, likes, backlinks, press coverage, email subscribers, sales, and or your existing resources. Resources, RS, applies to any factor which in greater amounts can have a positive effect in marketing impact. Think of a bonfire and firewood. Marketing impact is the size of the bonfire, and our resources would be any kind of flammable material that can help make a bigger and more lasting fire. There are 6 main resources you can always benefit from having more of. They are time, money, audience, network, credibility, and skills. Let's explain their relevance in the context of marketing. Time. The more time you have, the more time you can spend devising and implementing the perfect marketing strategy to obtain more of your desired resources. Money. Money can save you time by speeding things up. If you have boatloads of money, you can buy boatloads of ads and drive tons of traffic to your products by flipping a switch, or even better, hire experts to flip that switch for you. Audience. Do you have an existing audience, fans, groupies, a database of existing customers, tons of followers in social media, a big email list, thousands of YouTube subscribers, a popular Facebook fan page? Your audience is your most valuable marketing asset. It's where all your potential earnings reside. Network. Who can help you avoid mistakes, move faster, find shortcuts, mentor you? Behind all the top performers in the world, there is a solid network of mentors, coaches, peers, friends, and supporters. They are the key people that will help you succeed faster. Credibility. What are your credentials, your accomplishments? Who can vouch for you? Credibility is trust. Trust is the number one reason why your audience will listen to you, believe in you, and ultimately buy from you. Skills. What can you create that provides value to people? Are your skills in demand? How about your networking skills, or even better, your marketing skills? When you have plenty of any of the resources mentioned, playing and winning the marketing game becomes exponentially easier. However, most people start from 0. Well, actually from 1. Out of the 6 resources, everyone has 1 out of the 6 by default. Can you guess which one? Yep, everyone has time. To be more precise, about 27,000 days are at the disposal of most healthy humans. Your job in life is to be as efficient as possible at investing your limited time in acquiring as many of the resources as possible to achieve your goals. In marketing, as in life, if you're starting from 1, your time is your most valuable commodity. This means it's time, no pun intended, to put that resource to work. Well, it's your lucky day because today is the day you start trading your time in exchange of some marketing skills. How suck up marketing works. From my own experience and research, this strategy seems to be the best one at having the most lasting marketing impact while requiring the least amount of resources. There are many ways you can implement it, and below I'll show you 10 ways you can do so without spending a single dollar. Are you ready to be enlightened in the ancient art of suck-up marketing, which has been secretly practiced by ball-hungry men and women since the times of Mesopotamia? This is how suck-up marketing works. 1. Target influential people, companies, or websites in your industry. In other words, find the big, bold persons, the BBPs. 2. Reach out to them. Offer them something they find valuable. Offer to tickle their balls. 3. Deliver the promised thing and make you surpass their expectations. Over-deliver. 4. In exchange, get your company, product, brand exposed to their audience. Get the shit you want. 5. Rinse and repeat ad infinitum. Let's unpack each step. 1. Target influential people, companies, or websites in your industry. Make a list of at least 30 influential people, companies, or websites in your industry. To find your targets, just search for keywords related to your industry on Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Once you find the target, double-check that they're still relevant by checking their traffic and social media influence. You can check their traffic using a tool like SimilarWeb.com. Ideally, you are targeting websites with over 100,000 unique visits a month. BuzzSumo.com is a very popular tool to find the most popular content in social media for a specific set of keywords. Tip: be realistic. You're welcome to target top-tier entities like Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Oprah, New York Times, etc. But if you're starting out, you'll find more success by going after less popular targets. 2. Reach out to them. Offer them something they find valuable. In this step, you're going to go down the list of top targets and email them one by one to offer them something valuable. If you cannot find their email address, you can try several things. How to find someone's email address. Send them a LinkedIn invitation. Once they're in your network, you'll be able to get their email. Search their Twitter feed for @domain.com using snapbird.org. If they ever posted their email address, it will appear in their results. Guess their email address. Email yourself a list of 10 variations of their possible email. Most people use their name, initials, last name, or a combination, plus their domain name. Install Rapportive and Gmail and hover over each email to see if any social media data is associated with any of the guest emails. If you find any social media attached to it, that means that that's the real email. Finally, you can get an email address from someone by getting an intro. If you have a friend in common, this is the best way to get their email address and to get to contact with this person. Now, if none of those strategies work, you can try to reach out to them directly via Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, or any other social media channel. Ultimately, you can visit their website and send them a message via their contact form or email their support team. I did that when I started GRUMO Media, and it worked like a charm. What should you say in your email when you're reaching to this BBP? Use this format. 1. Introduce yourself. 2. Sell yourself a bit. Mention something impressive about you and mention any shared connections or interest. 3. Praise their work. Be specific and genuine. 4. Explain how you can help them with something concrete. 5. This is optional. Mention what would you want in exchange. And finally, 6. Never forget to thank them. Keep the email as short as to the point as possible. I made point 5 optional because I personally like to provide value before asking for anything in return. When I started GRUMO Media, I actually provided value as a surprise, but as you can see in the email I sent, I never asked for anything in return. So the email I sent was sent in October 2010 to hipmonk.com. And in this email, it said, "Hi guys, we love so much your service that decided to create a little video explaining HipMonk. Here it is, and then a link to the YouTube video. I hope you like it. Keep the good work. This is all I sent. Within 24 hours, I was being interviewed by the co-founder of Reddit.com, Alexis Ohanian, for his blog, and within a week, I had over 40 companies lining to get up videos produced by me. So this works. Obviously, I got lucky, but it can work. The problem with this strategy is that it's very risky. I think it is safer to establish a connection first before investing your time on creating something of value. 3. Deliver the promised thing. Hopefully by now you've already used some of your resource time to develop some skills because you'll have no bartering power unless you have something of value to offer. So what kind of things you can offer to your targets, to your BBBs? Here's a list of 10 things you can offer using only your time and skills. 10 things you can offer in exchange of exposure. 1. Guest post. This is the most popular way to leverage someone else's audience. Large online publications are constantly looking for fresh content to offer their audience. Typically, they have to hire writers to write articles, so they love it when they can get great content for free. In exchange, they should allow you to put a link back to your website at the end of the post. 2. Podcast interviews. Podcasts are also constantly looking for new guests. You can find the top podcasts in your industry searching in places like Stitcher, Google Play, or iTunes. Most podcast owners allow you to promote your product at the end of the interview. Sometimes the interview can be all about your new book, product, or service. 3. Making a promotional video. This is how I started my demo video company, GRUMO Media. I made a list of awesome startups that didn't have a promo video yet. I chose Hipmonk as my first target and spent 2 weeks creating the best possible demo video. I give them the video and the rest is history. 4. Writing a product review. This is also known as the poster boy formula. You test an influencer's product or service and then write or shoot an in-depth review. Ideally, you include the data supporting your results from testing the product or service, like sales, profit, traffic. 5. Record a testimonial. If you ever try to sell anything, you already know that testimonials from happy customers are possibly the most valuable asset in your marketing arsenal. A testimonial per se may not give you much exposure, but will help you build a stronger relationship with your target influencer. 6. Business audit. This is a strategy widely used by companies offering web design and SEO services. For a small fee or free, you can offer to audit your target's website or product and offer recommendations for improvements. In exchange, they may be more likely to hire you, buy your product, since they already had a chance to work with you and test your service. 7. Speak at industry events. Find the top 10 events in your industry and try to get in as a speaker. If you are starting out, it will be hard to get into the top events, so you need to work your way up. You can also speak at local meetups. Speaking events are great to gain exposure, credibility, connections, and if you're allowed to promote your product or service, the highest converting marketing channel of all. Giving a free class online. The most common way to do this is via webinar. People with large email lists are always looking for great products or services to offer to their audience. The way this works is you offer to teach something to their audience for free, and at the end, you get to promote your product or service. Typically, the list owner will get a commission for every sale generated from the webinar. This is one of the most effective ways to generate revenue and build your audience at the same time. 9. Get listed in Product Hunt, AppSumo, or Groupon. Anytime you can get your product in front of many eyeballs, you win. Product Hunt is the top destination for people looking for new tech products. Sites like AppSumo and Groupon offer products at a very heavy discount for a limited time to hundreds of thousands of people. With AppSumo, I generated over $10,000 in one day selling an online course. 10. Participating in TV contests. This may seem odd, but if you're not camera shy, TV contests are an amazing way to get tons of exposure. Santiago Segura, one of the most famous Spanish film directors today, became famous by appearing on many TV contests. He financed his first film with the winnings from one of those contests. 10. This is a bonus one. 10x popular content. This comes from content marketing expert Sujan Patel. The strategy consists on finding content articles or videos that are popular or trending, and then creating an improved or an updated version of the same article, 10xing. You can find that content using Google or BuzzSumo, and then you can approach websites or influencers that link to that article using a tool like Moz, MOS toolbar, and ask them to share the link to your article. If the post you are 10xing was a guest post, you could also approach the same website and let them know you've written an improved version and ask them to publish yours too. I personally have successfully applied 6 of the 11 strategies mentioned. Back in 2013, I applied strategy number 11, 10xing content, to start a new website in Spain called Doncar. Doncar is an online service that helps people pass their driving exam. To start the blog, I wrote an article that compiled the best tips on how to pass the driving exam from content I found in the top search results. Still to this day, most of the traffic, about 60% of it, Doncar receives, comes from that same article I wrote 3 years ago. 4. Get exposed to their audience. Most of the time, this still will happen as a result of you delivering value in a way that exposes you to the influencer's audience, guest posting, speaking gigs. However, if the exposure is not inherent to your offer, then you need to make sure you request or follow up with the influencer to make sure you get it. Ideally, you should have already negotiated how you will get exposure after delivering value. The most typical way to get exposure is by having the influencer linking back to your website, blog, or product. If you're not able to get marketing exposure, you may be able to barter other resources like network, money, credibility, time, or skills. Here is how else you could be rewarded for your work. Network. You may be able to get introduced to someone interested in your services. The influencer, they could invite you to a networking event for free. Money. They may be open to pay you for your work. Credibility. They may not be ready to introduce you to their tribe, but they may accept to give you a testimonial which could help you tremendously to increase your credibility. Time. They may be open to spend some time providing advice or even becoming a mentor. Skills. Maybe they cannot hire you or promote you to their audience, but maybe they're willing to let you intern for them so you can get industry skills for free. They may be happy to invite you to take a training workshop with them or one of their contacts. Don't fret if you don't get anything in return immediately. Just the fact that you provided value will put you in the influencer's radar, which can lead to future opportunities. 5. Rinse and repeat. A while ago, the highly respected tech entrepreneur and investor Paul Graham wrote an essay saying that the most common trait among all successful entrepreneurs was that they were relentlessly resourceful. This means that to find any kind of success, you need to be ready to take a lot of rejection, don't give up, and try again and again. This step is crucial because whether you are starting out or have found some success, you'll always be more likely to fail than succeed. The odds are clearly against us. Most businesses fail within the first 4 years. So how can you beat the odds? Simply, you need to understand that everything comes down to numbers. Let me illustrate this statement with 2 personal stories. 2 stories about the power of persistence. When I worked as a door-to-door salesman as a recent Canadian immigrant from Spain, the first thing we learned is that a good salesman had about 10% success rate. This meant that if you knocked on 100 doors, you were almost guaranteed to get 90 rejections. Day after day, for 4 months straight, I got 90%, sometimes 100% rejection rate. But you know what? Almost every day I found someone happy to buy my stuff. People don't talk enough about it, but failure and rejection are a big part of all success stories in all areas of life, not just business. Dating is a big one. Back in 2008, I decided to try the online dating thing. I already knew I would get tons of rejection, so I came up with a fail-proof plan. The plan consisted in making the odds work for me instead of against me. I knew I would get about 90% rejection or non-compatible matches, so I made sure I went out on at least 20 dates. 7 years later, I'm still married to the woman I met after my infamous online dating experiment. The point I'm trying to make is that for this marketing strategy to work, you'll need to make sure you try it a bunch of times. If you're lucky like me, you may only need for it to work once to bring enough business to keep you busy for a long time. However, I recommend you keep rinsing and repeating on a regular basis, and you'll see how, slowly but surely, the positive results will keep compounding over time. Final thoughts. Like I said in the beginning, there is no magic silver bullet strategy that can be explained in one line nor implemented in one day. Marketing is an endurance sport. You must make the best use of the resources at hand, learn how to apply them strategically, and then, with a bit of luck and a lot of work, you may get further than anyone. Be so good, they can't ignore you. You've made notice that for the suck-up marketing strategy to work, you'll need to be able to offer something of value. It's simple economics, which applies to everything in life, not just marketing. Unless you can create something useful to others, you won't be able to exchange it for any meaningful resources. The beautiful thing is this: the better you are at your craft, the less you'll have to worry about marketing. The opposite being painfully true as well. In fact, I'd argue, and Steve Martin would agree, that the best marketing strategy of all time can indeed be reduced to a one-liner. Be so good, they can't ignore you. How? Like Neil Gaiman said, just make good art. Spend as much of your most valuable resource, time, relentlessly improving your skills. Once you become the best, or one of the best in the world at your craft, the tables will turn, and they will suck up to you. And yes, if you can become the best farter in the world, you will get extremely famous and extremely single without spending a dime in marketing. Peace, love, and Farchi cookies. Miguel. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to it, rate it, and share it with your friends. To listen to previous episodes, just go to GRUMO.com. That is GRUMO.com. Thanks for listening. My name is Miguel Hernandez, and this was the GRUMO Podcast.